Hello and welcome to War Games 2 Episode 3. I've done a bit of practice in my own time, and I have actually beaten the tutorial mission on challenging with a minor victory. But I just want to talk about so the tutorial in the manual only works if you set the game to easy. So that is literally the most useless, it's just like, why would you have a tutorial that doesn't work on any difficulty other than easy? You're just teaching the wrong lessons. Why teach someone a way of playing the game that doesn't work outside of easy? Okay, let's talk about the game now that I've cut through the noise. And you know what, right? I want to cut into, because I know that there'll be people out there that will be like, mad because bad, which is just completely the wrong attitude. But anyway, this game could be summed up simply by this. I'm pressing the escape key right now. You can probably hear the clicking. Right? What's happening? Nothing. Nothing is happening when I press the escape key. In every other game, if I press the escape key, I would get the game's options menu. I cannot think of a game in like 200 games plus where pressing the escape key does not result in the menu appearing. Genuinely. No, what you have to do is you have to go to admin, which is not on the left-hand side, because in a lot of games that have a Windows-style menu, right, file is on the very left. So save and load would be the leftmost side of a stereotypical Windows-style menu system. No, admin is on the right-hand side, not the left. The quit button is on the left, not the right. Right? And then from within here, you then have the options, preferences, save, and so on. Let's go to preferences. Oh, non-NATO. Let's try those out. You have to exit the game for that to take effect, okay. I don't know why that is, but okay. I guess it's in game options. Nope, there's no sound. There's no... I wanted to turn the music off. There's no sound options, are there? Or are there? Is it in here? Here it is. Okay, right. Okay. So, oh man, like, this is a UI, this is like if I took a UI designer, because obviously part of my degree, I did a module in UI design. I'm by no means a UI designer, but I took a university credited module in it. So I have the foundations of UI design in my skill set, right? And this game, it's like it's like if a UI designer had the nuclear codes and he'd been captured by the Russians, the US football codes or whatever, and he'd been captured by the Russians, and the Russians wanted the nuclear codes. This is late World War II hypothetical here, right? They would torture the UI designer with this. They'd be like, all right, UI designer, if you want food, if you want to be fed, you have to exit this game. And the UI designer is like, okay, and he presses the escape key and nothing happens, and he's like, oh. So then he looks for a file on the left-hand side, and it's not there either, and he's like, So then he goes to the right-hand side and he finds admin. and then he sees on the left he sees exit to menu on the left, not on the right. And he exits the game. And so he gets his rations for that day. But during the night, he can't sleep. This poor UI designer, he can't sleep. He's rocking back and forth in the bed. He's like, you know, his legs are chained to the bottom of the bedposts so he can't get away. But his hands are free and he's rocking back and forth like this. He's like, I pressed the escape key, but the options menu wasn't there. The game options, the preferences, they weren't there. So I checked file in the top left-hand corner because I thought maybe it's Windows style. It wasn't there either. And then I found this admin panel, but it was on the right-hand side. And exit the game was on the left-hand side. Oh my god, it was so, And the next morning they get up, and then they make him do it again. He's like, I'll tell you what you want to know. I'll give you the codes. I'll give you the football codes. Just let me go, please. It's like, no. Now you've got to move your units across the map. It's like, he's left clicking the units, and he can't. He right click does nothing. Right click does nothing. It's like, how do I move these units? How do I move them? They don't tell him that he's in the air phase. They don't tell him he's in the air phase. They just leave him there. He's like, I can't move these units. This poor UI designer is being tortured. He's being tortured. Oh, it's all about the beautiful depth and complexity, man. This poor UI guy. Oh my god. This hypothetical man. He's being butchered in my mind. Okay, let's talk about the air phase. This is a tutorial, so tutorial mission. So the air phase doesn't really matter too much. But what you should do, which the tutorial does tell you, but the game doesn't really highlight this, is set missions to day only and set the air forces to advance. This is going to make the planes basically push forward as you push forward. So just some small changes. Otherwise, you can let the AI handle it for like 3 or 4 turns. Then you need to intervene and rest your army, because the AI will actually run your planes into the ground if you let it. The other thing that you can do is start moving planes. And what I would do is somewhere around here. Is the air reconnaissance group. Okay, it's already, the air reconnaissance group is already on the front lines, so that's fine. Some of these planes are a bit short range. So we might as well bring these spare planes to the front line, within range of the front line. That's it. Other than that, we'll just let the AI manage it for now. Yeah, at the moment it's set for recon and close combat support. Done. And then I'm going to start talking about the combat. It's actually way simpler than you might imagine. Or at least the meat and potatoes of it is. You know, so much pain could have been spared with, like, I could have written 3 pop-up boxes for this game, and it would have, not with walls of text in, just real simple. And you would be able to play this game competently, just cutting away the fluff. Okay, so in the top left you've got all these different modes. And the mode that I had selected here was Combat Preparation. So let's turn Combat Preparation on. So, how it works is this. Right, first things first, I'm just going to move my air force up to this base. Up to this frontline air base. Because that's where I want it to be. Interestingly, this unit here is attached directly to this HQ. I don't know whether you should move this HQ or not. But this HQ, I'm going to move to here. So it's on the... So it's on the road. Okay. So, combat preparation goes down by 1 point for every tile you move, and by 50% if you fail an attack. And it's all that matters, and it only recovers if your unit is not next to an enemy unit. So these mechanized units, I'm going to, because you should, so fiddly, assign anti-tank support for all of them. Shift just doesn't work like it does in other games. Let's add a tank battalion to this. Okay. So, as you can see, all of these units are yellow at the moment, or red. And that is because they're next to enemy units, so they won't recover their attack power. Right, I'm going to hit this because it's exposed. And I can. Now this attack can go either way. It's approximately double the enemy you need to push forward. They held. They didn't hold last time I went for them. So that's now done a huge amount of damage to me because my combat preparation will have dropped massively for losing that fight. But it's fine. Right, one of these has got movement points, it's this one. Let's hound this guy off the planet. Oh, he held! Okay, that's not good. Well, this is going fabulously badly already. By the way, this game is, for a free game of strategy, it is super RNG. You could have made the exact same moves here that I just did, and taken both of these. Okay. Any of these have got any movement. So basically, combat preparation recovers if a unit is not touching another unit. So this unit here is touching this, so therefore it will not recover. It doesn't really need to be there. So what I could do is move it here. Because this fortification's not going to move. There are no enemies in this town to begin with. The ski division, I think, could be pushed out with a little bit of... a bit of a disapproving look. Alright, I'll just move it back so it recovers. Okay, so that'll do for the first turn. Not quite, it didn't quite go as I wanted it to go, but it went okay. As long as these units are being touched, they will not recover. It's unfortunate we can't get a unit there, because that would have been nice. No. Let's manage our depots. Depth and complexity, guys. Yes. You just need to rotate unit. It's like strategic command, but slower. You just have to rotate your units so that they're not on the front line. Then they'll recover. They do not recover at all, really, on the front line. And the front line is considered to be anywhere where you're touching an enemy. So if a unit is red, you want to pull it back. And the funny part is that the old Shadow Empire tricks work. So where you deliberately leave a hole in your defenses so that the AI will overextend. Absolutely works. You see all these units are red, so they can't really attack. And the AI is now stacking them up. Now, because I brought my planes forward, the fighters are actually in range of the air freight here. So he's trying to use air freight to reinforce the front line, and it's going to fail because I moved all those Yak 1s to the front airbase. So now he's being intercepted. Sad times. Funny part is, This bit, this only happens for one turn because the AI will then think better of trying to run cargo. But this lags out the game hugely. Like, I don't know what's going on, but we are going to be here for like 3 minutes while the game works it out. Now, that's all, you know, what I've spoken about so far. That's all you need to know. And, you know, shift click to do deliberate attacks. Have more CV than the enemy when attacking, preferably double. That's it. That's all you really needed to know. Was pull units back so that their combat preparedness increases from red to orange to yellow to green. And then once they're green, stick them back on the front line and attack with them. That's it. That is 90% of the game in a nutshell. And I have to think there's got to be there's got to be a cleaner and easier way. And so this is why, you know, I deliberately talked about saving the game, right? In that there are definitely easier ways to do things. Long documented easier ways to do things, right? And I think that people who have been playing this style of wargame for 20 or 30 years have just... And they've I'm sure that there's tons of really interesting minutiae in the game that makes a difference if you fiddle with it. Don't get me wrong, I still reckon that this is probably an excellent game once you're really, really into it. But it is needlessly obtuse. And it doesn't have to be. How long would it take for a UI designer to get in here, remove that silly admin tab, okay? Or put it on the left-hand side, call it file, if you will. Redo the buttons so that they're Windows style. Or just get rid of the admin tab entirely and have the escape key bring up the game options. Which is literally what happens in every other game on Earth. Is you press the escape key, an options box appears with save, load, preferences, options, settings, quit, all there. But, such an easy fix. The shift key not working as expected is just another one. Okay, when I control click something in Windows, or anywhere else for that matter, when I control click, what I am saying is, I want this, and hold on to it, and then the next thing that I click, I want that too. And the next thing that I click, I want that too. That's what happens when I press control. That is how control is supposed to work. When you press shift, when you're selecting stuff, shift normally means I want this, and everything from the thing I selected to the next thing, everything in between, I want all of that. So if I hold down shift and I click 1, and then I keep holding shift and I click 6, the expected result, if I'm holding shift, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's what I should get if I hold shift. If I hold control and click 1 and 6, what I should get is 1 and 6. And not 2, 3, 4, and 5. But shift just does its own thing in this game. And not what you would expect it to do at all. I sort of think I'm starting to get it. But what, but why? Why is it this way? When I left click, what I'm saying is, I want this. And when I left click something else, what I'm saying is, I want this and not the thing I previously had selected. Right? If I wanted both, I would have held control. And if I want the list, I would have held shift. But it doesn't work like that. The side panels, when you've got the unit cards up, left click toggles them on and off. Why? we're back to that poor UI designer fucking chained to the bed. We're torturing this guy. We're making him suffer. He spent 20 years establishing UI conventions. Oh, so help me. Okay, that should be the first and last time that huge delay happens. It's just because the fighters were busy shooting down the freight. Next turn, there'll be so many fighters on the front line that the AI won't even attempt the freight. Okay, alright, here we are. So, air phase, partisans, of course, air phase, nothing I want to change here, I don't think. I mean, we can have a look at the air doctrine screen. You can change the altitude of your planes, like. Bomb C. I don't know enough about this to fiddle with it really, except the basics that I already fiddled with. I just have recon and ground support on. And I think the third air army is only allowed to have 2 directives, which is kind of irritating because I kind of want a third one. I would kind of want air superiority as well running. But how I establish a new air superiority area is a mystery to me. Left click on the map to select target hex. Okay, here. Automatic. Okay, excellent. Let's go. All right. Some interdiction happened. Okay. So. No extra support units to play with just yet. This is going to harm combat prep, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't know if I should actually just move this onto this rail line instead. Okay, these units are still frozen. This one has not recovered at all. Okay, so this unit has some combat preparation. You can see here that this HQ tile is actually relatively undefended. What I don't get here is oh, there we go. Okay, so this deliberate attack should now squeeze the HQ out of this victory point. Naval Depot is captured. Infantry division retreated. Now, this guy is a proper infantry division, but he is also properly surrounded, and he too is red. Red versus red is fine. If their combat preparation is terrible, if your combat preparation is terrible but theirs is also terrible, then it will work out. And we can just chase this guy. There we go, boys. Look, you can see here these units are horrendously crippled. My CV is 4.8, which is yellow. It goes up to 10 if you're green, but it takes time. Not being on the front line for it to go green. But we certainly can hound these guys. Okay, I am not attacking for some reason. Hold shift key for a deliberate attack. Have I got something else selected? Okay, it's weird. So these units here are not going to restore, which is fine. They're yellow and orange. They're not like in terrible condition, but they're not going to restore unless I move them off the front line. You see here, I'm leaving these tiles empty because, I mean, who cares? That's a close one. This should work. And I don't understand why it's not working. The unit is ready. Pretty sure it has enough AP left because it's a friggin' motorized, so it's got like $10 or so AP remaining, I think. I don't want to make a basic attack. These units should probably be reassigned to the front HQ as well. Which, you know, nothing is easy, as they say. That's who these are assigned to. Those units are actually not, or don't appear to be listed here. Ah, there we go. There was a filter on. And now I've been kicked out again. Where's that commander's report gone? I can't reassign it. Frozen or immobile units may not be transferred. Okay, that's why. Fine. Gotta remember to manage my depots. Alright, so we've taken one objective. We've also cut supplies pretty severely here. We've captured these depots. How much does that matter? No idea. I'm sure it's buried in an incomprehensible menu somewhere. But, you know, I'm just a mere mortal. I just expect to press the escape key and get the options menu. I could never appreciate the depth and complexity of going to an admin tab that's the not where you would expect it to be, and then click on the various separate buttons that are not in the order that you would expect them to be. I'm being overly, I'm somewhat being overly harsh here, but I hope people appreciate the point that in the short space of, I'd say, 5 hours of playing this game, I've learned a huge amount about it. But it needn't have been 5 hours. It could have been 45 minutes if the game at all tried to help you. And the time adds up. Like, you know, not to belabor a point to death here, but it genuinely took me 45 seconds to find the option screen. Something which I would find instantly by pressing the escape key in any other game. So that is a 1 second task that became a 45 second task, or 45 long, 45 times longer. Okay, partisans. these units are no longer frozen. Some of these units that are not on the front line are starting to recover to green status. You can see here the AI is pulling back because it is trying to regain its strength. Right, Third Air Army. There's coffee in that nebula. We're gonna rest them. We're gonna rest them for one turn. I think that means it's off, or is it on? No idea. Are we using it or are we not using it? Is it on or is it off? It's highlighted grey now. I'm actually winning because I have one capture point already. Right, anyway, that is it for now because we're 45 minutes in, but I will carry on with this. I'll push forward, capture more stuff, and we'll also see about trying to take out this fort at some point. But we're going to need plenty of well-rested units to do that. You don't have to take this to achieve a minor victory, you just need to take this, which is much less defended. But we'll carry on in the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time.